George 100.3 FM.
Good afternoon. This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. And we welcome you to Startup Nation. Up-and-coming startups, entrepreneurs go face-to-face with proven business leaders and talk funding, innovation, current business trends, technology, and social
Sean's
media's
got a great
role in
voice.
business. And now your host for Startup Nation, Ed Tracey.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Startup Nation. Ed Tracey here, and I am so thrilled today. Words cannot express the excitement that I feel and the angst all at the same time. Today, you're going to get it. The man, the myth, the legend. The reason that I'm here on this radio show is right here across the table from me, Mr. Don Willie, the director of the Atwood Innovation Plaza here at Dixie State. Correct? Is that what we call him?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, he's the guy that's buying all the furniture over there. And then he's like the consummate entrepreneur. He has, and we're going to talk about the businesses that I know of, Love Utah, Everything Utah, in these little tiny boxes that they send out to people, right? Mm-hmm. Get the mail. Mm-hmm. Caramel, that's my favorite, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are good. And Yeti shaved ice, which is like, because he doesn't have enough to do in his life, and on top of it, his wife's having like 9 tuplets or whatever. I don't know what, dude, I don't know how you do it.
Oh, my gosh.
That's great, though. How many kids do you have right now?
2 kids now.
2 and 2 on the way.
2 on
Twins.
the way, yeah.
Dude.
I'm just grateful it's not 9.
We decided, when we were just talking on the phone, that it's something in the water over at his church building, because there's like 5 sets of triplets or something over there.
Quintuplets,
Don't go to that church, everybody.
Yeah. Stay out of Little Valley. Just stay away from Little Valley.
Oh, my gosh. Yikes. So, Don Willie, how long have you lived here now? Not very long.
Just a year and a half now.
Yeah. And you came from Salt Lake, and you were the director of the World Trade Center?
Yeah, managing director of the World Trade Center.
That's a big job.
It was fun.
Dude, that's a big job.
It was fun.
Did you get any free money or anything while you were there?
Nothing like please.
That. Okay, great.
Quasi-public private, so it's...
Gotcha. And you did that for a while. And then an opening came down here, which landed you in a totally different position, basically, right? And you do a great job over there. It's because of you that all these, I call them youngsters because I'm old, these young people, entrepreneurs, have a shot at making something happen. I mean, you give them hope over there.
We hope at least,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, totally do.
We want to inspire them. We want to empower them to launch their own business, to create something themselves. Really be the ones to control their destiny, right?
Right. So now I'm not completely up on exactly what you guys do over there. You have a place where people can give their pitches, that sort of stuff. They can work on their pitches over there. They take courses over there, basically. It's open to the public too, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's open to everyone, and that's the beauty of it. So when we decided, and let me just say there really are 2 pieces to Innovation Plaza. There's an academic component, and then there's this kind of real world component of entrepreneurship. So we've got a few other offices. It's not just entrepreneurship that's over there. We've got Dixie Online. We've got academic innovation that are both in that space, and they really focus on the academic side, right? So online learning, so courses online, and then academic innovation is really teaching teachers how to teach, right? Helping them become better instructors and utilizing new methods, technologies to engage students. And I think those are both very important pieces of Innovation Plaza. I'm particularly over all the entrepreneurship, programming, events, curriculum, not the academic curriculum, but ensuring that everyday entrepreneurs have the resources, the knowledge, and the tools that they need to be successful. And Atwood Innovation Plaza is the one-stop shop for that. So
big time. So now you're dealing with real-world entrepreneurs, as you say. So real-world, do you have a cry room that they can...
We should, right?
You should go. A place where they can bang their head on the wall for like an hour.
We had, what is it called, a smash room?
Yeah. One of those rooms that's soundproof. They can go in there and scream, you know?
We had a client come in, and they were creating one in St. George. I don't know if it's up and running yet, but... You wanted to create one of those smash rooms where you can come in, take a baseball bat
and
or whatever.
And just break it apart.
And just break stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's not a bad idea, because being an entrepreneur can be one of the most rewarding things you do in your life, but it's not it's not free of frustration
Yeah.
beyond belief, right?
And entrepreneur is such a broad term now, but 20 years ago, if you called yourself an entrepreneur, they thought you were crazy, And,
Yeah.
And now people put on their business cards,
Everybody,
25-year-old life coaches. I'm an entrepreneur.
my Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Exactly. I heard I forget the guy. He's a radio host, and he calls them wantrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what I want. That's me. I'm a wantrepreneur. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, and I better figure it out fast because I'm halfway there. Life's almost over. But it's tough. To own your own business, and you know this because you got a couple of them. You get an idea, you think, oh man, this is a great idea, but nobody's ever going to buy it. Nobody's ever going to, take me seriously. And then you got to spend your money. You come up with a pitch. You if it's a brick and mortar, then you got all your licenses and your fees and your all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yours are, Yeti. Is that on wheels, by the way? Is that building on wheels?
I actually have a second one that is on wheels.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's the one that's coming to Street Fest.
That's awesome. Oh, I heard that actually.
Yeah.
I think I got some connections there. Might be able to hook you up. Might be able to help you there. That's probably the closest to a brick and mortar. Your Love Utah, right?
Yep.
That is something you've been doing how long?
So it's about 2 years now. So I actually left the World Trade Center to focus on that business, to launch that business.
So you're crazy like every
I'm
entrepreneur.
crazy, right?
Yeah. You have to be.
You got to take some big risks, and that's the scary thing, right? Leaving a good paying job with benefits. I mean, my wife, she gave me 6 months. She was like, you've got 6 months. And so it was a perfect gap of time.
And now she's paying you back with twins.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Mrs. Willie. What's your wife's name?
Appreciate it. Jennifer.
Jennifer, bless your heart. So, Love Utah, you, again, is it like a subscription-based kind of thing where people get this monthly package and it's everything made in Utah or about Utah, right?
Yeah, so this idea really came, and in fact, there's going to be an article about it in the next issue of Southern Utah Business too. But this really came about because of the time that I spent on the road while I was at the World Trade Center.
You've seen a lot.
And I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot. I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, all throughout Utah.
Politics, all that fun stuff.
Gosh, let's not. Let's not. That's another one of my businesses. Ugh.
Oh, we're going to talk about that too. Don't worry.
So it was really awesome being able to travel the state. I put on about 70,000 miles on my car, traveling and working with rural businesses.
Holy mackerel.
So I calculated it's 26,000 miles around the earth. 26,000 miles around the earth. I was like, wow, I could have driven around the earth.
You could have.
Almost 3 times.
You could have.
And that was just inside the state of Utah. But I had the time of my life. I mean, when I was out working with these small businesses, my entire focus was helping them to go global.
Right.
So helping them get to a trade show or on a trade mission. And it was so rewarding to see these mom and pop shops take these steps to grow their businesses. And it was small steps, right? I started with them just developing a business plan because they'd never even thought about a strategy.
Right.
Right? They really just fell into their business somehow, some way.
Some people just are successful by accident.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
They've either got an amazing product that people are just dying for, or right place at the right time, and some of it is just purely necessity, right?
Sure.
Someone loses their job in the family, and all they know how to do is cook.
Yeah,
And so that's what they do.
And gone are the days where, your dad was a butcher, so you become a butcher,
Yeah.
kind of thing. That
yeah.
doesn't happen very often.
No.
My dad was a priest, so I became a priest. No, it's not how that works either.
At least on the side.
Yeah, side hustle. I'm a Catholic priest. This is my side hustle. So you traveled the entire state of Utah, talking to all these businesses. You saw a need. You saw these people creating all these different products, and you said, you know what? I have a way to get it out there.
Yeah. And that's how I was born.
So how many businesses would you say you work with when you're doing that?
When I was traveling, I probably interacted with north of 300 businesses.
That's great.
Not all of them product-based. I mean, a lot of them service-based. I can't really fit a small jet ramp in a box. If I could, I would.
Sure you can.
Ship it to the Middle East, which is where these were going, right? Right out of Richfield. How cool is
That's
that,
it, man.
right?
Big old cargo glide in the box,
Stuff that thing in
What
there.
is this?
And so only a fraction of those are ones that actually have been included in the Love Utah box. But I mean, it was it's inspiring to see these small businesses gain more traction, more customers, more opportunity just by being able to put them in the box, right? To have them in the Love Utah box, it gives them more exposure, more opportunity. And it's really cool to see that happen, to see that their sales go up because we're able to help them with that.
Sure, it gets the word out, not just for you, but for every single business that's in that little box, right? And so, how do they sign up for this? Yeah,
so we've been wanting to launch our subscription for a little while. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to, but we've been so overwhelmed with large events that it's been difficult. And these are the struggles of an entrepreneur, right?
Sure.
At what point do you say, okay, I've got to push this off my plate to make this happen?
When you pick and choose, you just have to, sometimes you pick the right thing, sometimes you pick the wrong thing. And sometimes it's not necessarily bad or good. You just have to do that at that moment.
Exactly.
And everything else kind of has to go to the side.
Exactly. So tough choices that you have to make in entrepreneurship and big risks that you're taking.
Gotcha.
But we've been so overwhelmed and so grateful and appreciative to our customers that we've been doing these massive orders for large scale conferences,
right?
And it's kept us so busy that it's hard to take the next step. But our next step is into the subscription box realm, where anyone in Utah, anyone in the nation, and potentially the world could order, or you could send it as a gift to a family member, and you get a monthly box where you try new and unique products.
And there's some cool stuff in there.
It's
really better than the Love Idaho, which is just a potato. That's all you get.
You get a bag of
potatoes. I lived in
there?
Boise. You just get a bag of potatoes every month.
This month from Blackfoot.
Every month. Burley, Ashton. Tastes like the other ones.
What are the Coeur d'Alene potatoes like? Are they all fancy?
They are very pretty. Very pretty. They have bows on them.
They shimmery.
Mm-hmm. Come in a snow-covered carriage.
The resort potato.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've got a little design on every potato. Anyway, so I think that's a great product. I mean, just to be able to have that, and there's so much. I mean, really, I grew up on the East Coast. When I moved out west, I had no idea that Utah had what they have. You know. Red Rock. First of all, I didn't know where St. George was. I have friends that said, you need to come to St. George. I'm like, where's that? I knew where Bountiful, Salt Lake, and Vegas was, and everything in between was Mormons and Indians. Still. So you come down here and you're like, oh my gosh, you got all these businesses, and you've got all this tourism and all these different things. And then, having been involved a little bit in the community, you realize that there's some great artists. There's people that make product, Product Power Up. We were talking about that before the show started. It's a big conference that they put on, 2-3 times a year. And it's product people that are entrepreneurs, but come up with a product, like Charlie Bessie from Koala Tree and, Purple Innovations and, Maloof, the guys out of Logan that do these, Serenoni, these really soft blankets, which they wouldn't give me one for free.
Come on.
I know. I had to spend money. It's okay. It was worth it.
Did you get the pineapple one?
I'm not telling you. I bought it to put my Coeur d'Alene potatoes in. So.
Oh my gosh.
But there's just so many cool things, and a company like Love Utah gives you the opportunity to experience every little bit of the entire state, really, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So let's come back to that. So then, from that, you decided, or your wife decided for you, that you needed to get another job. They do that,
So about 3 months in, the pressure started building,
I get it.
The bank account is getting lower and lower every month, and I don't see any numbers going up.
Honey, we're almost out of ramen noodles.
I thought ramen was fine. I mean, come on.
I'm like, you and I could live on that, but they don't.
There's so
like
many
that.
options, right?
Man.
Oriental, chicken,
beef,
shrimp, beef.
pork.
I mean, you got it all.
It's good stuff, man.
I know. They need a few more flavors, but there's diversity.
Exactly.
There's diversity.
So you went from that, you came down here, right, pretty much? Or was there anything in between that I'm missing?
Yeah, I mean, that was really it. I've got a campaign consulting firm on the side.
How did that start?
Oh, gosh.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know.
You need more things to do.
So here's the funny thing, right? So I'm in entrepreneurship, and I've got a very business focused mind, right? I'm always looking at strategy, organizational development, efficiencies.
You're an idea
profit. Guy. Yeah, I'm an idea guy.
Yeah.
And I got my degree in political science. And Asian studies. So I speak Cambodian.
Really?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Yeah, right. It's so useful in St. George.
I was just thinking that.
So useful. I think I've got the largest population of Cambodians in my house. My Cambodian family from Long Beach, they drive through once a year at least, and so our house becomes the Cambodian household of St. George.
That's awesome.
And we make amazing food, so.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that invitation.
There's a fish sauce stench. That's where it's coming from. It's over in Little Valley.
Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah.
You lost me at stench. Sorry.
So anyways, I did my degree in political science because I love politics, and I don't know why I do, but I love it. I grew up in a very politically engaged and active family.
Right.
I was lobbying on Capitol Hill as a child. My brother suffered from mental illness, and I was an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old testifying to the legislature
on a
saying
mission
how this impacted me and my family. And so my mom and I and my siblings were up there quite often. And that, I think, really shaped an expectation for me to be engaged politically.
Have you ever run for office?
I have.
How'd that work out?
Well,
I've done that once.
Okay, so yeah, didn't make it on Mill Creek City Council.
I found out stuff about me that I didn't even know.
It's there.
Oh,
it's there.
And luckily, people spend their money to find these things out. I don't have to spend the money; they find it out.
Hey, they do the research.
Oh,
man. You find all this stuff out. You're like, hey,
man.
Now I know, and I didn't have to pay for it.
I'm like, oh, I did that? Probably did that.
But my claim to fame is I was the mayor of the University of Utah Village, which is the married student housing. And really? That is important. So basically, I was an event planner.
That's a thing? That's a thing, everybody.
Yes, you could be the mayor.
University of Utah married housing mayor. His honor is here today.
I know. There was like people there was no parades. I mean, come on, right? Like, you think if you're the mayor of something, there's some fanfare that goes with it. No, nothing. I don't even want to know how that happened. Yeah. Well, probably because I had donuts they gave out on election day.
Makes total sense then.
Starving students, donuts. I mean, come on.
I get it.
Right.
I'd have voted for you.
This is how you got to know how to win votes.
That's awesome.
But we've run several races on the side, and so that's something that, it's definitely taken the back seat with the pressures of my current full-time job here at Dixie State.
Yeah, sure. And luckily, I mean, although it's probably somewhat of a full-time job, there's only so many elections every so often, but when they hit hard. Like, this is an election year here in St. George, You got 3 open seats. We've kind of talked about that. And people say, hey, you ever think of running for office? Yes? What? You sure you want to go there?
Are you sure?
Are you sure you want that can of worms to be opened right here?
But you're right. And these elections are so, like, right now, especially for St. George, it is so critical who gets on the city council, right?
With the growth that's going on, with the water issues, with all this stuff going on, and then the little things that are, I don't want to say less important, but, they're talking about the Performing Arts Center and all these things, man. You are either somebody's hero or you're on a list, and
yep.
Well, it's like what you do. You can't please everybody, and with me with Street Fest, there's always somebody that I tick off.
Oh yeah,
always.
It's always me.
Oh yeah.
I'm like walking down that street looking for you. I'm like, where's that?
Whatever, dude.
Oh my gosh. You do an amazing job with Street Fest, by the way.
Thank you. It's fun.
Amazing
job. It is a work of love. Just like anything, you got to especially something like that. You got to love what you do. Otherwise, it's not worth it to me.
No.
So.
You've done a phenomenal job. You got a great team, obviously, that helps out too.
Good people.
But, I mean, leadership.
Lil Barron, Susie LaFaele, Tara Thompson, Caragul Branson, they really are the meat and potatoes. Lil Barron, if we were married, she'd have killed me a long time ago.
Well, how much do you rope her into?
Everything.
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 She's everywhere.
So her birthday is June 29th, by the way, and she didn't want a party. I'm like, oh, no, I owe you. We're throwing you a party.
Well, yeah, what are we doing? Come on, let's tell everyone in St. George so they can come.
No, she doesn't. July 6th at Suzanne Leonelli's house, everybody. There you go. 5:30 p.m. Be there.
Can we get a proclamation from the mayor?
You know, we should.
We should?
We should.
We
And
should.
I'm going to have to leave St. George. Leave. She's already mad that I'm doing this, but I'm like, I don't care.
I think a proclamation's in order. I'll work on the governor. You work on the mayor.
Key to the city?
Let's get it. Yeah, right?
That'd be good because I'm pretty sure nobody knows where that key is.
No. And it'd be useful to know who has it.
That's true.
You know, hard times.
I think it's locked up somewhere. So yeah. So have you worked on any like really cool campaigns? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, so I've worked on quite a few campaigns over the years. Really not as a formal entity, right?
All right.
So I'd come on as a consultant for the most part.
Sometimes that's easier, a little bit better money,
Yeah.
and the dirt's not on your feet. You know,
Yeah, I mean the
on your
fire.
shoes.
Yeah, I mean it gets pretty fiery, and really, like you said, when it is in season, it's a full-time job, and it's really hard. I mean, it's you're working days and nights, right? I mean, nighttime I'm crunching data, daytime you're knocking doors, holding town halls. I mean, it's a full-time job, and so it's enjoyable. I love doing it, but it's one of those things where it happens when there's some time to do it, and I've got to be able to say, as an entrepreneur, right, I don't have time. This is not the right time for this in my life.
I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm fascinated by this. Do you know who's running this year?
Mm-hmm.
Is that all you're going to say?
Yep.
Okay, great. Dang it! I know a couple of people that are running, and you know I've known them and good people and stuff, and yeah, it's tough.
I'm not gonna talk local here.
Yeah, I get it.
I gotta focus. I got Innovation Plaza.
I get it. Well thought out. There you go. Save your job, pal. Save your job. All right, so you do that, and then now, because you don't have enough going on, you go out and get yourself a Yeti shaved ice shack.
Right.
You get a business. Is that a franchise, or what is that exactly?
No, it's here.
It's owned just here in St. George.
Yeah, so my wife and I bought it in February, I want to say. Actually,
Which is the best time for shaved ice.
totally, right? That's
Yeah.
the time of year.
Like selling ice cream in Park City in December.
Yeah, that's right. It's good stuff.
Anyway.
Hot chocolate ice cream, right?
Actually, that sounds pretty good. I like that.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do hot chocolate during the wintertime.
There you go.
Right?
You could.
Yeah.
Nobody else is
diversify.
doing that.
Diversify.
Trademark. It's ours.
Famous.
It's his.
Famous Yeti.
Shaved hot chocolate.
There's nothing stopping, right? There's no boundaries.
Swing the bat, baby. Swing the bat.
No boundaries here. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we bought it in February, and it's always been one of those things where it's like, wouldn't it be really cool to have a shaved ice stand? Right? Like, why not? Free shaved ice, like unlimited shaved ice.
But now you have, yeah. Okay.
And then I'm like,
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. That's what you think, and then you buy it, and you're like, oh my gosh.
But now you have employees.
You got employees.
You know.
And I've got some really awesome. I've got some really awesome employees
sure.
that are fantastic. That just comes with the territory. So I mean, it's great to be able to be a job creator in the community here, to support some part-time students who are learning the ropes. Right? I mean,
sure.
This is a cool opportunity to mentor them and to help them as they
Learn a little discipline, make some money, you know.
Eat shaved ice.
Yeah.
Right? The one perk of the job, I mean, you get tips, which is always nice.
Yeah.
But I let them have as much free shaved ice as they want.
Now, where is this little shack?
So we've got our stationary location over in Washington Fields. It's in the Lynn's parking lot.
Okay.
So it's right on Mall Drive.
Right. The first parking lot as you come up to it.
Yep.
On the right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And we just painted it. We just rebranded. So it used to have kind of a scary looking Yeti that kids would not.
My ex-mother-in-law.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
very scary.
Right. Imagine that. Think of the ex-mother-in-law with 4 teeth.
Four.
Four pointy teeth. So we did rebrand. We've got a really fun, cool Yeti now that is a little more appealing, and just taken it in a new direction. And we've seen a significant increase in growth over the last few years. So I mean, just in this first season, we're anticipating quadrupling the revenue from last year.
Well, for one, you're really good with social media. Always have been. You're really good at it. And just doing that alone has probably quadrupled anything that was coming in that place. And I don't know who owned it before. I'm sure they had fun and they did, a decent job in that. But, like anything, you probably get tired of it after a while. And you're like, I'm going to sell it.
And there's a time and season for everything in everyone's life, right? And so, at different times, you jump into something, you're passionate about it, and there's a time to exit, and you got to know when to exit, and then someone else can come in and take it to the next level. And there's no shame in that as an entrepreneur, as a business person. There's no shame in knowing when to bow out, when it's your time to move on to something different.
Sure.
Yeah, that should be rewarding, and that should be a very validating process for someone.
For sure. So we got about 30 seconds left. So you own all the Yeti locations, or the Yeti location, right? That's just you.
2 right now. Yep.
You're Mr. Yeti.
Mr. Yeti.
All right. We're coming right back. So we're going to talk a little bit about, how you started these businesses. Did you bootstrap them? How you finance them? How you market them? How much sleep you're getting? Because I know you don't sleep, and you got to... We'll be back with Don Willie, everybody, in 2 minutes right here on Startup Nation. Stick around, everybody.
Next time on Early Music Now, we'll hear heartfelt and uplifting music of remembrance, including Schutz's Musikalische Exequien, plus works by Gombert and Bach. Our performers include Vox Luminis and the Monteverdi Choir and English Baroque soloists. I'm Sarah Schneider. Please join me next time for Early Music Now.
Early Music Now, Thursdays at 11 on Radio St. George 100.3.
Now it's time for another edition of Did You Know? Brought to you by Your Family Still Matters. Did you know a solar oven allows you to bake an egg using the sunlight and can also sanitize your food? And with solar, you can charge your phone. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Well, now you do. Did you know? Brought to you by Your Family Still Matters. With violins, food storage, and solar products. At 175 West, 900 South in St. George. Right behind Pizza Hut on Bluff. It's Your Family Still Matters.
Welcome to Live a Better Life with Dr. Barrowman from Desert Edge Medical.
High blood pressure is called the silent killer. Controlling your blood pressure can decrease your risk of stroke, kidney failure, and other diseases. It's recommended to get your blood pressure checked every 3 months. I'm Dr. Barrowman, Doctor of Nursing Practice from Desert Edge Medical, and I can help you live a better life.
Desert Edge Medical, 656-2995, 656-2995.
Theater of the Mind was the driving force during the golden era of radio. Each night we showcase a genre of old-time radio shows from 10 to 1. Sci-fi, horror, comedy, adventure, westerns, and so much more. Old-time radio. Every night starting at 10 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
It's daytime classical music on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
We welcome you back to Startup Nation. Here's your host, Ed Tracey.
Oh, the things we talk about when we're off the air. It's good stuff. Don Willie is my guest today. I am very, very excited to have him here. This guy's got his hands in everything. Like everything, dude. You're busy.
Feels like it sometimes.
Are you happy, though?
Yeah.
Good man.
I would not be happy not having so much going. I don't know why.
I know.
I don't know.
I get it.
I get stir crazy, right?
I get it. Like, I have to have something to do or I annoy people, as you might imagine.
So everyone is grateful that you've got so many things.
They're
on
like,
your
hey,
plate.
you need something to do? Otherwise, I'm like, what are we doing now? I'm like a kid on crack. What are we doing now? So there you go. Secrets about Ed.
Tell us more.
No.
Tell us more.
Nope. No, you'll find out when I run next year. We've talked about, I actually would consider running for public office, but you need to know what's going on. I mean, yeah, everybody knows me, and yeah, he's a fun guy, but what can he do about this? I didn't even know that was a problem. You know, that doesn't go over well, especially in this town. Because even though this St. George is, land-wise, this St. George is bigger than Salt Lake, land-wise. It's not as many people. But with all the growth going on here, you got to know everything. And it's still kind of a small town.
Yeah.
People talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to run, go to city council meetings for
Right.
a year,
Yeah.
like a solid year, go every council meeting.
I actually go because it's the quietest place to take a nap. And I fall right to sleep when they start talking. Mary Pike, I love you. Just want you to know, but come on. So we went. This is no lie. I'm such a tangent kind of guy. Lil Barron and I were there to get the okay to do Street Fest. And mayor's up there. It's on the agenda. You know, they're going to talk about it. And he goes, oh, we have Street Fest here. He goes, Ed, tell us a joke. I'm like, no. No.
Let's start off with a little comedy.
Yeah, 3 councilmen walk into a bar.
Maybe you should start that. Let's do that, right? Let's do
Open mic night.
Open mic night at city council for comedy,
Actually, we should do the Gong Show.
not public comments.
You remember? Oh, those are fun. Those are fun. I love those.
Newspaper comments.
Oh my gosh. Some of that stuff. But you know what?
Do
Everybody has.
not read.
I know. Everybody has something to say. You know, as crazy as some of them seem to us, they're serious. Like, people are serious.
They are.
And they need their voice. And luckily, they get their opportunity. Public comments.
Hey, there's a lot of benefits from moving from Salt Lake to St. George, and I'll say one of them is not having to deal with one of our perennial protesters who just showed up at every little thing. So we also have I have a nonprofit on the side that I founded a few years ago.
What's that?
It's called the Emerging Leaders Initiative, where
Look at you.
we help younger individuals become more engaged in government. So we focus on 18 to 35
That's
year olds.
necessary, by the way.
Very necessary.
Because these days, people don't have a clue.
No, they don't. But this guy always comes to these events, and I'm like, oh, come on. But,
We got to have a couple of those people here, too, though.
but at the same time, like, they're passionate about it, right? They care so much about it that they show up. And it's kind of nice that they show up. I mean, it drives you crazy sometimes,
Sure.
but what about everyone else? Like, we
If
just
more
gotta show
people
up.
could be that passionate, even half as passionate,
A quarter as passionate.
yeah, you could get so much. Yeah, you could get a lot done.
Let's
with
not
the
go
right-
too far here.
Yeah, even just a little. Yeah,
Just a little bit of passion.
I get it.
Just get that fire going, right?
I get it. So you're not working on any campaigns this time around?
Not this time around.
Okay, good.
Not
Take a
this
little
time.
break. You got stuff going on, dude.
Yeah, man.
You got twins coming September 9th.
Yeah, I think my wife would kill me. I mean, that's a little too close to election.
I've never even met your lovely wife, and I am sure that I don't even have to know her. She wants to kill you sometimes.
She is phenomenal, and yeah, I married way above myself, and
Is she Cambodian?
she's not.
Okay, just check.
She's not. I've tried to teach her Khmer, and not
Is that
working.
is that the language?
Yeah.
Khmer.
My wife, my kids, they know a little bit of Khmer, and they laugh when I speak it. They just start laughing.
Did you serve a church mission over there or something? Yeah.
Yeah. In Long Beach, though, I got the best of both worlds.
Oh,
Stateside, beautiful
That's-
SoCal, and Cambodian.
That's awesome.
Not bad.
It's like everybody that comes on the show and says, "Oh yeah, I speak this language." I'm like, "Oh, you served the church mission?" Did you? 'Cause you don't look like you would have gone to Mexico on your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. But you know what? Language is language, and who knows? You know, with the experience and the background that you have, you may get to have a business over there.
Southeast Asia is an up-and-coming place.
Oh man, there's so much going on over there, dude.
Manufacturing is increasing. It's moving outside of China. We're seeing lots of it grow, extreme growth in South America and Southeast Asia. I mean, that's where manufacturing is moving right now.
At the risk of sounding political, and I don't mean this in any political way, is there a lot of issues with all that production and work over there and all these tariffs that are getting placed on people? And that's a big issue.
Yeah, it's a big issue.
It's
a big issue. And it's a fine balance, because I get the idea of wanting to elevate America's presence. I think that over the last decade or last 2 decades, our country's taken a beating on the global scene.
A lot of stuff goes out of this country to be built, to be manufactured, to be sewn.
But also, I mean, making those big, bold moves also puts American businesses at risk and jeopardy as well.
No, for sure.
And
Because we have stuff going out there.
well, and the price tag on everything we buy just goes up, right? I mean, it gets passed on. Businesses are only going to absorb
like
so
oil.
much of that. Yeah.
It's like oil.
They're going to pass it along to consumers. So we're going to pay more for our goods.
Yeah, for
That's what it is.
For sure. So usually in the second half of the show, we talk about, because first half we talk about your businesses, your background, the things you've done. Where'd you go to school, by the way?
University of Utah. Go Utes. I still have my U license plate.
You do really? See, I don't get the whole
I'm not giving it up.
BYU Utes. I don't get the.
I don't
A
get the
Ute to
rivalry.
me is like Joe Pesci saying these two Utes. It's a New York thing. You have to appreciate that.
I don't get the rivalry. I had parents that went to both schools, and frankly, I don't care. I think they're both
I'm not a sports guy.
They're both good schools.
I go where the good-looking women are. Really, I'm single, so. Are you a Ute fan? Because you're amazingly beautiful. I'm a Ute fan now too. I'm that guy that goes to the racetrack and bets on the jockey with the white pants because they all wear white pants. I never knew that. Anyway, so we talk a little bit about everything that you do in the beginning, and then the second half we want to talk about how you get the word out. Obviously, we talked a little bit with Yeti Shaved Ice. You're really good at marketing that. I mean, in the short time that you've been kind of putting that out there, everybody knows. I'm sure you've seen an increase in business. Good location too.
Yeah,
I mean, you
great
can't.
location.
And there's lots of stuff going. Washington Fields, that whole area.
booming.
There's a ton of stuff going on down there.
It's booming. Yeah.
So it can't be a bad location.
No.
But marketing it is obviously key,
Yep.
right? And what do you do besides social media? You put any print ads out there? You sending kids out with flyers? What do you?
We should, right?
Really?
We haven't done. No, social media has been the real key to it. And targeted social media. I mean, you can say do social media,
Right.
and that means anything to anyone.
It does.
But you got to be smart about it. You got to be savvy. You got to know where to spend money, when to spend money on paid advertisements. And so we do a lot. We push a lot through that. And then we're just getting started to do some community giveaways as well, where we're teaming up with different other entrepreneurs in the community to do some giveaways. And we're looking for opportunities where we can give out coupons for free shaved ice as well, because we want to be good community players. We want to be able to give back to the community. So we've actually done some sponsorships at local schools. Obviously, it helps us get the word out, but
That's kind of important.
more importantly, it helps provide funding that our teachers need for supplies, for activities, for the PTA, sports teams. We've had a ton of requests that have come in to support sports teams, and we're more than happy to entertain those because we want to contribute and give back.
Is there a lot of competition with that? So here's my view of Southern Utah, because Utah is Utah. Pine trees, snow on the mountains in July, drive. Cedar City, snow, St. George, desert. So you have a lot of car washes.
Yeah.
A ton of car washes.
Every
Like,
quarter.
I feel guilty not going to one of them at least a week. And then shaved ice. What else do they have? They're just, there's certain things because of the heat down here and the dust
Yeah.
that you have.
Yeah.
So does Yeti have competition to speak of? I mean, I know there's a couple of places. I think Dino Crossing over there has got, I see a sign up. They're going to be putting something in there.
Yeah, nothing's happened though. So
I'm sure you're not upset about
I don't know.
that.
The brand that's gone, I'm not going to say who it is, but I've had it before.
I love you.
And that's not just me as that's me as a consumer, right? Don't go. No. I got to watch what I say.
I know.
So, I mean, when it comes down to it, yeah, I mean, we've got competition, and it's interesting because you kind of have these little pockets of different shaved ice, and it's not necessarily territorial, but I think that geography plays a role, right? And we are the shaved ice for Washington Fields and Little Valley. I mean, that's kind of our territory. That's
Right down there. I don't know of another one closer.
And the thing that I love about Famous Yeti, and this is why, because I looked at multiple options. I looked at the Hokalulu, whatever that one's called.
Haleakala.
Never been able to pronounce it.
Gesundheit.
So please, I apologize. It's not a slight. I just literally don't know how to. Went to it in Mill Creek when we lived in Mill Creek. That's where we went, right? But it's a chain, right? It's a franchise. So you buy into it, and
Famous Yeti is not.
it's not. No,
Okay.
it's locally owned. This is the first place it's ever been. It was established here, and that's really what pushed us over the edge. Is this is an opportunity to continue to build this St. George brand, and I love that. I love true local businesses. You got local owners for franchises, and I think that's great. But this is a true local business, and you got to tip your hat to those that are doing that.
Is it something that is scalable? I mean, could you, if you wanted to franchise it, could you franchise it? Could you open multiple locations in St. George? I mean,
Yeah, and we anticipate actually opening multiple locations. So over the next 5 years, we anticipate opening additional 8 locations.
good for you.
So you'll see Yeti Famous Shaved Ice.
I'll shave
expand.
ice for you,
There we go. Come on over.
but I don't want you to pay me more than $7.25 an hour.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Hey, my employees, I do not start my employees at minimum wage. So
Did you hear that, kids? There's no kids listening to this.
I start them higher because I expect a lot of them, and they've got multifaceted roles. They don't just do the, I mean, some of them actually help run social media. So they're all responsible for taking good pictures. We train
Nothing
on
better
that,
than a
so-
teenager doing social media.
Right?
I swear to you, that is the best. Give my phone to my 16-year-old, and all of a sudden I got 5,000 followers. I don't get it, but I get it.
Yeah, right.
So is this something that you bootstrapped? Did you, I mean, you find yourself going and get a loan? I mean, it's not a unique, I mean, it's a unique business, but it's not like a business. It's like, you know, I'm like me with my comedy club thing. I got to go find a building, and I got to get a lease. I got to get tenant improvements. Yours is there's no other way to say it. It's a shack.
It's a shack.
It's a shack.
We still deal with some of that, right? So, I mean, I own the shack. I own the real estate. I can pick it up. I can move it. I can take it wherever I need to.
You pay a lease over there?
I do pay a lease. Yep. I pay rent on asphalt, which is so rewarding to cut that check every month. It's seasonal, right? So I'm only operating
and
this
seasonal. That's
6
another
months a
thing.
year.
That's it.
We're open April to October. So, I mean, it stays there during the off months. I still pay. Luckily, it's a lesser
Sure.
monthly payment,
Sure.
but I pay it just to store it there. But we deal with that, right? I mean, we deal with who hooks up the power, we don't have any plumbing, so we take out our gray water every night and dump it in back storage area of Lynn's, right? Like,
Wow.
I mean, we deal with a lot of the same issues. It just is a little bit different.
So what do you bring in, block ice, or when you're doing all that stuff? Huh.
Yep, we got our block ice. It's actually molded to a specific mold for our machine, so it's all custom produced ice. It's made locally, so
Very cool.
yeah, I do not make it at my house. I will say that.
I was going to ask.
Just so the health department is hearing this, I do not make it at my house. I buy it from an approved vendor.
It's not in my house. I don't do this in my house. What's that under that shed? Nothing. That's not a freezer.
Why is your electricity bill
Yeah,
spiking?
what's going through the roof? From April till October, you're paying like $1,400 a month. What's going on?
It's not just AC that's going there.
Yeah, I get it. So, so this is something that you just did on your own. You finance it yourself. I mean, I can't imagine it'd be, I don't know what something like that costs, but 10 grand? I mean, you don't have to tell me.
North of that, it's not cheap. I mean,
No.
You think about it and you're like, oh yeah, that'd be easy. You know, if you build it yourself, you can bootstrap it and, you know, probably set something up for maybe 10, 15 grand, right? But I mean, you think about it, the machine itself is between $3,000 and $5,000.
Right.
So, I mean, that alone, that's my biggest asset aside from the building is the shaved ice machine.
And you, so there's no electricity or anything in there?
There is, yeah.
there-
So
you
we
don't.
we had to hook up our own power. So,
Okay.
you know, $2,000 to just get our own power to the shack, right? That's an improvement that we had to take on ourselves. So, and you hope that your lease is renewed every year. It's a year-to-year lease that they offer.
Right.
But, you know, you hope that you don't just throw that $2,000 out the window when your lease comes up. You know?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It's the price of doing business.
It's a crapshoot.
Yep.
Yep. It's a good one, though. It's a good one.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. We love it. My wife, she helps out a ton. This is a joint effort. That's the way we've always looked at it. But, you know, I'll be there tonight. I'll be there tomorrow night training some new employees. So I work days, I work evenings, work nights.
Famous Yeti shaved ice on, what road is that?
Mall Drive.
Oh, it's Mall Drive. It is still Mall Drive down there.
2928 South Mall Drive.
Right in front of Lynn's. Can't miss it. It's the first parking lot. When you come up to it, turn right. It's on your left.
Yep.
Know exactly where it is. Let's talk Love Utah. So you've been doing that for how long now?
2 years.
2 years. And are there real hard costs associated with that? Aside from, do you buy the product? Is that what you end up doing, or do they supply it for you?
So right now we buy the product.
Okay.
You know, that there's an art to your supplier relationships, right? And we have enough that, you know, we feel confident in being able to buy the product. At some point we may end up doing a drop ship where we warehouse it in one single location, have all the product shipped there. And
Right now it's in your house.
It's in our house, yeah.
Oh my God.
So our office is bursting at the seam with product. I mean, you come in there, my wife is like, will you please use some of your money to buy doors for your office so I can shut the doors and not have to look at it? No, it's true. I mean, it's a mess. We've got boxes everywhere. I mean, I've got, you know, a few hundred cans of salsa right now. I've got caramels bursting at, I mean, you need caramels. They're good too.
I love caramels.
come
Especially
on.
salsa with caramels.
I'm probably gonna get robbed. I'm talking about all this good food.
Come
that's
on,
in
where's
house.
my caramels? Hey, Tracey.
Thank good. I've got a good security system, so I can be like, "Yep, there's Ed."
Well, yeah, there's his face.
Walking out with
Face full of caramels like this.
oh my gosh, got like this chocolate ring around you. It's like,
Like a kid, like a fat kid with eating chocolate. Sorry to all the obese Americans out there.
But yeah, we buy all the product. We hand stamp each box, even still. Eventually, I mean, I am a bootstrapper. I do not like to.
Yeah, if you can do it yourself,
That's
the best. Really.
Does it take more time? I mean, am I up till 2 a.m. stamping boxes? Yes, I'm up till 2 a.m. stamping boxes, but I'd rather do that than.
How do you get it to the next level, though?
Yeah.
So you're doing a lot of big events. Like you do a convention. Everybody at the convention gets one of these.
Yeah.
The convention planners pay you to put 500 of these puppies together.
Yeah.
It's a big order.
Yeah.
Have you seen an order quite that size yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yep. We've done up 1,200 boxes at a time. So, I mean, they're big. Yeah, they're not just a few dozen. I mean, we're looking at thousands of boxes.
A lot. Is there a benefit to doing that versus doing the subscription thing where, you have 500 going out a month? I mean,
Yeah.
where do you see it going?
Yeah, and that's the next stage for us is expanding into the subscription realm, and that requires staff, right? At this point, it's just been my wife and I doing it. Sometimes even when my family's in town, I'll put them to work getting boxes prepared. Our kids even will help out with some of the boxes too. Everything is prepackaged, so don't worry. Little hands touching and safe.
It's okay. It makes it more special.
It's part of the charm, right?
You're like, why is there a thumbprint in my caramel?
It's all right. It's from my cute little 6-year-old.
Yeah.
I can argue with that. At this point, I mean, it really is personnel, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to hire additional employees, and that includes, you got to make choices too. Are we comfortable having employees in our home? Or
do you get a space to take it to a warehouse,
Exactly.
and then you've got more costs.
Exactly.
And you've got, workers' comp. You got all these things that you add 3 people, and all of a sudden it's the equivalent of hiring 20 people with all the costs involved.
Yep.
And so I get it.
It's a startup cost,
Yep.
and that's that can be kind of petrifying for an entrepreneur. Like, yeah, I want to grow this, but I am scared, right? I'm scared. And look at me, like I'm preaching entrepreneurship, and even myself, like I have employees in other businesses, but this one in particular, I've got some concerns about that, right? Mm-hmm. And who do you want people in your home? Because that's reality. You could have them come in and do fulfillment from your home.
Right.
Do I want to go rent space, right? Like, do I rent
How big's your yard? Build a building.
no, right?
The Willie's just built this shed out back, and I see these people going in and out.
What is going on there?
Breaking Bad. It's got a meth lab in Little Valley.
Right?
But it looks like caramel.
The Little Valley's got like the perfect name for that too, right? Like
Totally.
unassuming. You just think it's like this beautiful, happy little place.
Agricultural community.
Really, it is caramels and chocolates and prepackaged edible that are not illegal. Let me just clarify. Okay?
Gotcha.
Just for all the listeners.
Have you ever? Okay, so funny you should say that. So now with all these, all these laws being passed, and that, do you ever have a company come to you and say, "Hey, we want to put our medicinal marijuana in your Love Utah box"?
Medicinal chocolate.
Whatever gummies, right?
Spiked gummies, spiked chocolate. No, we've not yet, and I don't foresee us doing that anytime soon.
It'd be tough.
Yeah,
it'd be a tough.
maybe we'll
do
have
a separate box.
Maybe we'll have like a little, separate box. It's packaged in green. I don't know.
Brownies, and the same guy keeps ordering brownies every week from you.
I'm sure there's amazing money in it. Not my cup of tea.
I get you. I get it. Many people think I should smoke marijuana, but
You should, or you do.
I don't. I have never, ever tried that stuff, ever. I don't even like the smell. Okay, sorry, all you pot smokers. Sorry. Just saying it, okay? God bless America. Okay. Land of the free because of the brave. So that's, obviously that's something you got to think of. And with any business, it's scary to take it to the next level, and there's cost, there's time, there's trust, and all of a sudden it goes from your kids and your wife to, guy from the neighborhood that wants to help you, and is he trustworthy?
Well, and investors too, right? I mean, that gets into a whole nother topic. Like, we could spend a day talking about that. But when you talk about trust, I mean, you got to have a pretty good amount of trust in your employees, right? I mean, my employees count our till every night. They put it in a deposit box, and I've got to trust that they're doing it accurate. And luckily, I mean, I can see everything on the back end. Everything is electronic. But you got to be able to trust them. And same thing. I mean, because
you can't be everywhere.
No, and if you're at the point where you're ready to expand and you need capital infusion, right? For a small business, it can be really difficult to get a traditional loan. And so, if there's someone in the neighborhood, someone that that says, hey, look, I'll come in, but I want equity in the company. Right. Are you willing to give that up?
Right.
And you got to think to yourself, and someone explained this to me a long time ago, because I think an entrepreneur gets very territorial about their business, right?
Because it's their baby.
It's their baby.
And even an investor is not going to treat it like you would treat it.
Oh, yeah. And the people that will say like, oh, come on. But like, I mean, don't you think having this investor on board is better for the company? Someone who has not been in that situation of building their own company and knowing the time and effort and energy it takes and the sacrifices, they do not know how valuable it is to you, right? They don't get it.
Right.
And so just to say like, well, go get an investor and give them equity. It's like,
it's not that easy.
Okay, here's the leg of my firstborn, right? Like, it's difficult to do, but you've got to look at it, because someone has told us a long time ago to me. You've got two options. You can have 100% of a failing company, or a stagnant company, because over time, if you're not growing and you're not doing the right things, that's the boat you're going to be in.
Sure.
Or would you rather have 70% of an extremely successful company?
Sure.
And what's your answer? Do you want a legacy that could end up going away in 5 years as the market declines or goes in a different direction? Or do you want to bring in the talent that can help you grow it, and you get 70%, and that 70% far outweighs the 100% you used to have?
Even with small businesses, you think that just happens when companies go public and you let go of control and stuff, and then will your board take care of it the way you do? It happens with shaved ice, people.
Yeah.
It happens with shaved ice. So, now your consulting business, that's just something you started on your own, obviously. You just marketed it, you went out and said, hey, I can help you with your campaign.
Yeah, it's very hand selected, so it's not everyone that will.
You get to pick who you work with.
Yeah, it's not everyone, and that's the thing is I'm not, it's not a business that we require the income in our family for, so I'm not out there drumming up business.
It's a love.
It's a love, and you've got to be able to have full faith and confidence in the candidate you're running. I mean, one, you've got to be able to vote for them yourself, whether or not you live in the district.
Right.
You have to be able to vote for them.
Have you ever had somebody of an opposite political affiliation that you've ever represented? Would you ever do that?
I've provided some advice, so I've done some consulting. But again, and for myself, I'm a conservative Republican.
Right.
But I'm very moderate in my beliefs, right?
Sure.
And so there are things that I align very, very closely with on the conservative agenda, and there are things that I align myself very closely with on the liberal agenda, and it just depends on the issue. And I say I'm an issue-based voter. I'm Republican, but I'm an issue-based voter.
Yep.
And so will I take...
Especially these days.
Yeah, and will I take a candidate of a different political party? Yeah, I'll entertain it.
Sure.
But I've got to be able to believe in all of those issues.
Give me a website for Love Utah.
LoveUtahBox.com.
And for Famous Yeti Shaved Ice?
Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Famous Yeti Shave Ice.
Without the D. Don Willie, you are the man, my friend.
Thanks, Ed.
I appreciate you, buddy. Don Willie, everybody. Make sure you check him out. Famous Yeti Shave Ice and ILoveUtahBox.com. Startup Nation, take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Startup Nation with Ed Tracey. For audio of the show, go to YouTube or Facebook, Podbean or Spotify, and search